Hi, I'm Kate Roos, and welcome to Parents Corner. Today we'll be talking to JoAnn Escobosa from the Anne Arundel County Department of Health. Hi, JoAnn. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
First off, can you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is JoAnn Escobosa. I'm a pediatric nurse. I've been a pediatric nurse for around 30-some years. I've worked in a lot of different areas. I've been at school health for about 8 years, I think, and I really enjoy it a lot. It's kind of the culmination of all the different places that I've worked before here. So
yeah,
it's good.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about the school nurse program in Anne Arundel County Public Schools?
Sure. School nurses are public health nurses, which means we just don't take care of the students. We take care of the whole family and the community. All our school nurses are registered nurses. And our model is, each model in each jurisdiction is a little different. Our model is there's a full-time RN school nurse in every high school and middle school, and in special centers. Elementary schools generally have one full-time school nurse between 2 nearby elementary schools. So the elementary nurses kind of go back and forth. But in every school at all times, there's also what we call health assistants, which are certified nursing assistants and medication technicians, which means they are certified by the Board of Nursing. They go through rigorous training to be able to give meds, to administer first aid, to basically take direction from the school nurse on how to care for those students. So there is someone in the health room at every school at all times during the school day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So working with students from pre-K all the way up to 12th grade in Anne Arundel County Schools, what kind of issues or what do you see working with these students?
Okay, well, we often say, when people ask me what kind of nursing I do, I always laugh and say school nursing, and there's like a blank stare because they think that you do Band-Aids all day. And I always say we actually have 85,000 patients in 125 locations.
Yeah.
Our chronic health condition rate in this county is about 30%, so that means of that 85,000, there's like 5,000 kids with asthma and 3,000 with severe food allergies that might require an EpiPen. There's hundreds of kids with seizure disorders and cardiac problems and type 1 diabetes. And they're spread out among the entire school system. Our goal in school health always is to keep kids at school healthy and safe and in class and ready to learn. So we try to identify and remove any barriers to education. We're kind of a conduit between the healthcare system and the education system, which are very different. They have very different language, very different goals, very different ideas, and we're kind of in the middle of that. So we know that if kids are healthy, they can learn, and if they can learn, they can stay healthy. So it's a nice partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned barriers. You're removing barriers. What kind of barriers do school nurses and health assistants remove to keep kids in class?
Right. Well, if you have, say your student has asthma, if their asthma is not very well controlled, they may be absent a lot. Or if they're, same thing with type 1 diabetes, these students that have insulin. What keeps them in school is a program, a plan for their care while they're at school. It may involve visiting the health room once or many times during the day, depending on what it is. But the school nurse kind of coordinates with both the parent and the healthcare provider. There are orders and treatment orders to try to keep kids to be able to get everything that they need while they're there during the school day so they can be in class. We look at absenteeism a lot, and we try to eliminate anything that would keep a student out of school when we can.
Yeah, that's really great, and that's what's the most important to us too, keeping kids in school. So that sounds like you're doing
right. That's the whole point of school health. That's why it's unique. It's a unique area of nursing. It's its own specialty. There's an advanced certification of school nursing. It's its own thing. So.
Yeah. And then what's new in the school health program in Anne Arundel County?
Well, right now we're very much involved in the effort about opioid awareness and about the current opioid crisis. As we know, there's been a number of increases in overdoses and deaths from those overdoses. And there's been an effort in our county and in our state and of course in our nation about this issue. School health is involved on many levels, both on the prevention side and on the the emergency treatment side. On the emergency treatment side, we are the first in the state to stock naloxone, Narcan, the medicine that rapidly reduces the effects of an overdose, in all of our schools, K through 12. All 125 of our schools have a stock of this medicine. Police officers carry it as well. And I'll be honest with you, when we first started talking about having it in our schools, there were a lot of other areas in the state that thought, oh, we'll never use that, or we don't need that, or there was just a lot of reluctance. And our program thought, no, if the student is in trouble at school, we want to be prepared. Or frankly, if a parent or guardian is, there was some talk that, oh, we'll just have it in high schools. But actually, we lobbied to make sure that it was K through 12, because the parents and grandparents sometimes are the people that are suffering the most. So when we started that, we did that about 3 years ago. And since then, everybody's kind of gotten on board with this. But on the prevention end, the high school and middle school both have a pretty involved curriculum where students learn about substance abuse and the evils of that. But there's a new effort now, even in elementary school. We're talking to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders with a developmentally appropriate program about medicines, about how to be safe around medicines and whatnot. Because what we've found is the research has shown that one of the large areas where young people wind up addicted is through prescription pain meds. And you have a sports injury or a surgery or dental surgery, wisdom teeth, for example, and you get a prescription pain medication. That prescription pain medication is almost always an opioid. And it's not like your provider says, here's your prescription for your opioid. And so educating people on what an opioid is and why what is the connection between prescription pain medicine and heroin? And it has to do with taking, if you have too many pills administered, which sometimes is the case, they'll come home from the pharmacy with a bottle full and you don't necessarily need all that, where you're taking it beyond the pain management and into the euphoria effect. And then when you can't get any more prescribed, buying it on the street's very expensive, and heroin's not as expensive. So there's a kind of a pathway there. And so our goal is always no new users. We don't want anybody new taking this on. So we've spent a lot of time educating parents and students, and we've spoken with school groups and PTAs and coaches on how to take your pain med and when to take it, when to stop, what to do with it, when you have stopped, what to do with it when you have it left over. And often what you get from the pharmacy is take every 4 hours as needed for pain. And so if there's 30 pills in that bottle, you could be in trouble by many days of taking it around the clock. So prescribers are getting better, pharmacies are getting better, and we're trying to educate parents on a couple of things that might be not the normal way you handle things. With an older adolescent, you might say, go get yourself a dose of Tylenol, and they do it on their own. But with an opioid, you as the parent have to hold on to the bottle. Even if it's your spouse, the person that's not taking it needs to hold it and dish it out. Because when you need it or when you've taken it, you're kind of not really aware of when you took it last, right? So so that's one thing. And what to do with it when you have it left over. What we found is in the research is the majority of people have pills left over, and the majority of those people keep them. And right now you can dispose of any prescription medications at every police department. They're open 24 hours a day. There's a big box in there, it looks like a mailbox, it's all green, where you can drop off your prescriptions, and you should. And this effort has made us all realize that we all have a medicine cabinet at home that's not locked up. We all have pills left over from different things that we for some reason hold on to, and so we're trying to help families know that that's actually can be very dangerous, because one of the pathways that young people who get into recreational use of these kinds of medications do it through their own medicine cabinet or their parents' medicine cabinet or their grandparents' medicine cabinet. So educating the families about those kinds of issues and how to prevent those new users of prescription pain meds is a large effort in our program right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for that information. I didn't know that all that was going on in our school nurse program throughout the county. So really, really great effort by you all.
Thank you.
So how do parents find health information and forms needed for their child for school?
Okay, well, our health department has a website. It's aahealth.org. And on that website, you can either find it or you can just put it in the search bar. There are forms there for students with diabetes have to have special kind of doctor's orders. But if you just want your child to have a Tylenol at school, for example. There's a form in there called the parent's request to administer medication, and the parent fills out the top and the physician fills out the prescribing part. Even over the counters require this form for us to be able to give out medicine either every day or just as needed at school.
Oh, okay.
So those kinds of forms are there. But also that website's a treasure trove of other information. You can find out about what immunizations are indicated. You can find out about head lice. You can find out about, there's a whole segment on how you know when to keep your child home from school. Like just how sick do they have to be that you should keep them home.
Yeah.
There's also contact information for all the school nurses listed there. There's a lot of good information there at aahealth.org.
Okay, great. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of good information that our parents can use. And how, as a parent, can I get in touch with my school nurse? You mentioned on the website that there's contact.
Right. You can call your school directly. On the school website, on the ACPS end of the website, they often list, the name of the nurse and health assistant and how to contact them. But you can also go to the health department, and the aahealth.org has a list of who all the school nurses are. And then if all else fails, you can just call our office.
Yeah.
We're at 410-222-6838. We're there every day. That's the School Health Services office. We have a number of, we're really fortunate in this county. We have a very well-run program with a lot of supervision for our health rooms. And so there are supervisors and resources there at that phone number all day, every day. If you aren't having luck finding your school nurse or getting information that you want there, we're always welcome to talk to parents, and we do on a very regular basis.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, good to know. Thanks. And you mentioned even over-the-counter over-the-counter medicine. What do you see most of that parent, if a parent is considering, a cough suppressant or Tylenol or things like that? What can they keep at the school?
It's usually acetaminophen or ibuprofen, like Tylenol or Motrin, and just in case their child gets sick or starts a fever. Many parents are working, and it may take them, half an hour or whatever to get to school to pick up their student, and they know if Benadryl for students who have mild allergies, that a dose of Benadryl would do the trick until the parent can get there to pick them up. So that's some of the over-the-counter things. Some of the prescription meds that we get orders for, of course, are inhalers for kids with asthma, EpiPens for students with severe food allergies. Though we do stock, all our health rooms have a generic, not prescribed stock epinephrine injector in the schools. That the stock epinephrine and the stock Narcan are like our two stock drugs. So, but that's not unusual. And then that's available when those kinds of meds come in. They're available to go out with the student on field trips and what have you. So, and some of our students have emergency medications for other things like seizures or diabetes, or and so that those things are we're very much into emergency preparedness. We are in fact we have some training this year, and we met with the fire department to talk about what our supplies are in case of the event of a catastrophic accident or emergency at the school, such as a shooter or a bomb, some of these kinds of things. And so we've talked about safety and what kind of equipment we need and where we need it in the schools. We're very serious about that. So we figure if we plan for the worst situations, then we're not likely to encounter it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all this information. It sounds like your school nurses and your program is very busy.
Thank you. This is a good county to live in if you have a child with special needs or a child at school.
Yeah.
It really is. We have a nice school health program.
Yeah. Well, thank you, JoAnn, so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us today on Parents Corner. Until next time, I'm Kate Roos.
Today I come to you with exciting news about school meals. School meals offer students a healthy school breakfast and lunch. Every day, students are offered unlimited choices of fresh fruits and vegetables. Students are encouraged to select up to 2 cups of fresh produce each day at lunch from our unique salad bars. You may also monitor your child's school meals online at MyPayments Plus. This is a convenient tool we offer to all parents to make managing your school meal accounts a simple process. To learn more about MyPayments Plus, simply visit www.mypaymentsplus.com or call 877-237-0946. Each year, families have the ability to apply for free or reduced price meals. The application to apply is online. Parents, you may log on to applyformeals.aacps.org. The process is fast, easy, convenient, and it's accessible from any computer. Remember, if you received meal benefits last year, you must complete a new application each school year. Thank you for this opportunity to provide you this valuable information pertaining to school meals. School meals fuel your child's brain and body for academic excellence. If you have any questions regarding the healthy school meals offered, please contact me at 410-222-5900.